Jury selection is set to begin today in the criminal trial of the Trump Organization. Prosecutors say the former president's company took part in a 15-year scheme to compensate top executives off the books in order to avoid paying taxes. For more on what we can expect, we're joined by NBC News investigative correspondent Tom Winter. Tom, nice to see you. The company and its then chief financial officer, Allen Weisselberg, were indicted last year following a years-long investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Remind us how we ended up here.
Well, good morning, Steph. You may remember back in 2012, then presidential candidate Mitt Romney said corporations are people, and whether you agree or disagree with what he said in the eyes of New York state law, that's exactly what they think, and that's the reason why the Trump Organization itself, the company, its buildings, etc., are on trial here today. This, as you said, it was a multi-year investigation, involved 2 trips to the Supreme Court to be able to get then President Trump's tax returns and tax documents, a number of subpoenas, grand jury testimony from some of those closest to the former president in this company, all led us to today, and Allen Weisselberg being charged along with this company back in July of 2021. Now, somebody who's pleaded guilty, he's been convicted, and he has to testify in this trial to his own conduct, which he says he did, in which the district attorney, has charged the company with.
And as you mentioned, Weisselberg, he's already pleaded guilty to 15 counts of tax evasion, and he took that plea deal to testify against the former president's company. So what kind of punishment is the organization facing, and what might it mean for the future of the company?
Right, Stephanie. So I think that's the big question that everybody has. And under New York state law, really the only thing that can happen here, if convicted, is a series of fines for each specific count. The total, if they were to get the max, is just shy of $1.6 million. New York state law does not have any sort of provision for a company getting effectively the death penalty, meaning that they would have to go out of business or they'd have to sell their assets. There's no sort of a monitor that can be assigned as somebody that could independently review the books going forward. So the penalty here is purely monetary, and to the tune of approximately $1.6 million. Weisselberg, as you said, the star witness because he is expected to testify. And legal experts point out that it's really a tough challenge here for the Trump Organization, because the more that they attack Weisselberg, the more things that Weisselberg might say that could be damaging to them. Already he's done the Trump Organization, legal experts believe, a huge favor in not saying anything against the former president himself, not willing to cooperate against him. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out here at trial.
So, Tom, a financial penalty for the company, but what could potentially happen to the former president himself? What should he be concerned about?
Right. Well, I think that's a big question that everybody has. And so when you look at that, you see, well, if the company is convicted, does it make it more difficult for them to be able to obtain financing, to get certain types of contracts that they have renewed? So I think that remains a bit of an open question. We're going to have to just see how that works. Obviously, that impacts the former president's wallet. I think the bigger challenge for him personally and legally, and as well as for the organization, is the suit that's been brought by Attorney General Letitia James. There's approximately $250 million, $250 million fine and disgorgement that could be levied against the company there, as well as a clause in that, if convicted, that could make it nearly impossible for the company to borrow from any sort of bank. They would have to go the private lending route. So I think that's something that is potentially a bigger concern, not just for the Trump Organization, but for the former president and his family.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. Tom Winter, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.